So a lot of you have been asking me about lawyer recommendations. In this video, I'll be covering what to look for in a lawyer. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jason and I work with several top immigration lawyers, which is where my EB1A, NIW, and O1 profile building insights come from. I also run a paid newsletter for $12 per month, through which you can get access to my newsletter resources, which includes a profile building opportunities database that currently lists over 400 profile building opportunities, categorized by criteria and field. You will also get access to my private group where members have been able to find co-authors for papers, have been able to find opportunities shared by other members, and have also been able to find collaborators in general for profile building. If you're interested in these resources, check out the link in the comments. But going back to the video, what should you look for in a lawyer? Firstly, this is something that I've been thinking about a lot because I'm currently in the process of vetting a couple of firms, and I will start to make more recommendations within my newsletter and also share with everyone special offers that you can get access to as a member of my newsletter. So that's one thing. But in general, what I tend to look for, besides price, of course, and that is something that everyone focuses on, but it's really more than price and also more than approval rate. What you should look for are the following. What types of cases does this firm or this lawyer tend to handle? Is this the type of case that best matches your type of case? Because if it is not, then you will probably want to ask questions about why they think they are best positioned to handle your case. Because the last thing you would want is to probably work with a lawyer who has never handled your type of case and probably has no idea what you even do or what you do in your field. I mean, there are lawyers who can do that. There are lawyers who have never handled certain cases in certain fields and can still handle them well. You will just want to understand if that is actually the case. Something else to look into besides approval rates and pricing is what kind of communication you want with your lawyer. Do you want someone who handles very few cases and as a result can respond to a lot of your emails and messages? Or do you want someone who may have a more established record, who may have handled more cases, but as a result probably runs a much bigger firm and you may not even get to work with that person directly? So you may do a consultation with them and they may then send you off to one of their colleagues. That's something that can happen within some of the larger firms. And some people don't like that. They want to do a consultation with a lawyer and then directly work with that lawyer instead of getting sent off to another lawyer within the same firm. So that's something else to also keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind, and this is something that a lot of people don't really think about when talking to lawyers, is what types of cases they handle, as in how difficult are those cases? Do they tend to take on the strongest cases or do they also tend to take on borderline cases? Because what difficulty level they like when it comes to cases can be quite indicative of the kind of lawyer they are. I'm not saying that you have to go for firms that like to handle borderline cases. I'm just saying that sometimes if you have an open and shut case, if you have a very strong case, and this could be like a very strong EB1A or a really strong O1, probably not really the case anymore for NIW because of the nature of adjudications. But say EB1A and O1. Say you have a really strong profile for EB1A or O1. If you are comfortable with a more templated, perhaps even lower cost process, you might want to go for one of those firms that has a lot of mechanisms built out to just speed things up. But then as a result, there's no personalized service. Some people actually prefer that because it's lower cost. They can file a couple more times if they get initially denied. That's something that you're also going to want to think about as well. So finding a lawyer is just so much more than just price and approval rates. And based on what I just talked about, approval rates aren't everything, because if you have a firm that handles only strong cases, they might have a high approval rate, but they may not be the right fit for you because maybe you don't have that strong of a case, or maybe because you just have a borderline case. A lot of things to consider besides just price and approval rates. So here are just some of the factors to consider when thinking about how to pick a lawyer, when thinking about the lawyer you want to work with. And I'll definitely be covering more about this topic. And I also am in the process, as I said, of vetting a couple of firms, and I will start mentioning their names and providing recommendations within my newsletter, along with special offers for people within my newsletter. So that's just something to keep in mind if you are looking for a lawyer for EB1A, NIW, and O1 in the next 3 months.